Yes guys, Coach Sam here. I'm joined with Mel, and today we're going to be doing a fake away. So a takeaway that's fake and healthy. Alright, so yeah, we're going to do a chicken curry. I don't know about you, but having a curry is a bit more of a, it seems a bit like a treat. But you can actually modify it and make it as healthy as you want to. And we're big fans of curry. We normally have it at least once a week, but we make everything from scratch. So we know exactly what goes in it. We can plug that data then into MyFitnessPal. We've actually got this chicken curry saved as a recipe in MyFitnessPal. So when we make it, we just follow this every single time, Mel, don't we? Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, Mel's going to talk you through her especially chicken curry, and it's super healthy. And you can even modify the carbohydrates of this meal. When I was dieting, I did the photo shoot, I was having it with cauliflower rice, which sounds awful, but believe it or not, when you've got a really tasty curry, it's absolutely fine. And if I am trying to push my calories a little bit higher, I'll have it with maybe some basmati rice. Mel's also been known to have this with a courgette base, or just even on a big bed of spinach as well. So you can modify what you have this curry with to suit your goals. Cauliflower rice is probably the lowest calorie, or courgette, or the spinach. Or if you want to push calories a little bit higher, you can have a different type of rice. Okay, so yeah, over to Mel. She's going to show you how to cook this amazing chicken curry.
So this is a very versatile curry. I'm going to show you the method that I like to use and a few different ingredient options. So I'm doing a chicken curry, so I'm using a kilo of chicken breasts, which means we'll normally get 4 to 5 portions out of it. My veg of choice to go inside, I'm doing peppers, and there are a few different kind of bases that you can use for a curry. So I like to use a plain chicken stock, but you can use chopped tomatoes, and you can use coconut milk. This makes a really tasty curry, but obviously you need to factor the calories in. If I ever do use coconut milk, I use full fat. You can get the half fat coconut milk, but I just think this is worth the calories. The half fat coconut milk can sometimes behave a bit differently. It can split easily in the curry. So if you're going to use coconut milk, just factor in the calories, go full fat, and maybe just go lower carb. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my base for the curry, and I'm using a curry powder. Again, if you wanted to, you could use a curry paste. You know, whether that's an Indian curry paste, I like to use a Thai curry paste as well sometimes, but the way that I make it is always the same. So I'm going to make a mix of onion. I'm using red onion, but white onion works. With some garlic, chili and ginger. You can also make a really tasty veggie curry as well if you didn't want to use meat or a meat sub. You can use whatever you want in this. I'm just going to rough chop some onion. I'm using my little Ninja chopper, which I highly recommend if you're lazy like me, as well as some lazy chili, the lazy garlic and the lazy ginger. You can use fresh, but I just have these in the fridge because it's a bit quicker and easier. So I'm just going to do a good teaspoon of each in here. You can absolutely chop these by hand. This is just a lot quicker and easier for me. So I'm just going to whiz this all together. You can see it looks like this, and then I'm just going to fry it off. So I like to use fry light. I never use oils unless it's for like salad dressing. This is great for me. If you've got the right non-stick pans, you don't even need to use this. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that in, and I'm just going to fry these off starting on a low heat because I just want them to start to warm up while I prep my chicken. So when it comes to prepping the chicken, I do this with any meat, and I just trim off any visible fat. So, you know, we know chicken's a lean meat anyway, but any kind of bits of white fat that are still on there, I just like to cut them off. And then I like to cut my chicken up into small chunks, just because it cooks a little bit quicker. So I'm just gonna cut this chicken up and then move on to my veggies. Okay, so that's my chicken done. I'm just going to pop this to one side. I'm just going to turn the heat up on this a bit so I start to get a sizzle while I prep my veggies. So like I said, I'm just going to use 3 peppers for this. You can use any veggies that you want. You don't need to worry about chopping them in any particular way, just whatever your preference is, because they're all going to cook down in the curry anyway. Okay, now as you can see, I've got a nice sizzle going on here. I'm going to start to add my curry spices. Now, this is one of my favourite curry powders. You can get it on Amazon. I'll leave a link to this. It's great. I tend to use about 3 tablespoons. I'll put 2 in now, and then I put a final one in just before the curry is done. So I'm just going to chuck that over. And I'm also going to put a little bit of plain flour in as well. Don't be afraid of using flour in recipes. When we're not using a big quantity, you know, it's not going to affect the calories too much. So we want just a bit of flour in to help thicken everything up. So I'm just going to stir this in, and it'll kind of turn it into a bit of a dry paste, but that's what we want. And then I'm going to slowly start adding my chicken stock in. As you can see, I've got about almost a glass full. I'm going to add a tiny bit at a time. If I need to add a bit more hot water at the end, I will. So we're just going to slowly start adding this until it comes together to the consistency that I want, and then we're going to add everything else. So we'll take a few minutes now just to get this just right. Okay, so we are almost there with this. I'm just gonna let it thicken. So if you find that it's not coming together as you want it, you can add a bit more flour, or you can add a bit more stock as you go. I would say keep it on a low heat to start with and then build it up. If you whack it straight on a high heat, you'll find that your flour, curry powder and whatever kind of base sauce won't come together as well. So gradual is better. Going to add the last of this, and I'm just going to let that come together for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. Now, you can cook this on the hob. You can leave it with a lid on or off. I like to chuck it in the oven and cook it for 30 to 40 minutes, just because I find it a bit easier than keeping an eye on it on the hob. You tend to get the same results whichever method though, so it'd just be your preference on this. Okay, so I've just taken this off the heat because this is how I want it, and I'm going to start to add my chicken and veggies. I'm going to add my chicken. As you can see, I've cut my chicken up into fairly small chunks, so this isn't going to take as long as if you were leaving the chicken breasts whole. It is already smelling great. So now I'm just going to stir this all together. Don't worry if it looks like you haven't got enough curry powder. Remember, everything's going to cook down. The chicken is going to release some of its juices, as will the veg. I tend to leave the lid on to start with. I check in after about half an hour. If I find I need it to reduce down a bit more, I will take the lid off to finish it off. Practice makes perfect with this one. There we go. That looks about how I want it. So now I'm gonna put a lid on this. There you go. So we're going to put it in the oven. I'm going to do it for 30 minutes to start with on about 190, and then I'm going to check in and see how it's going shortly.
So guys, it's been 30 minutes. Alexa just got off to remind us that our curry is or should be ready. Now, if you take it out and it still doesn't look cooked, obviously you can put it back in for another 5 minutes or so. But like Mel said, 30 minutes tends to be perfect. So yeah, let's take a little look at this chicken curry. Voila! Smells amazing. Okay, so what will this be served with?
So I like to have it with rice or jacket potato, and I tell you what I do like that I've just discovered are these low-fat plain poppadoms. They actually come kind of flat and you put them in the microwave. These are really good and they are only 35 calories per poppadom.
So there you have it, guys. That's our chicken curry. Any questions, let us know. You know, based on your goals, obviously we recommend you, you know, for fat loss, maybe go with more cauliflower rice. For muscle building, you might want to go with something that's slightly higher in carb, like normal rice. If you are a hard gainer, you try and find it hard to build muscle, maybe you could go with like an egg fried rice. But yeah, that's the curry. You choose what serving size you want, and Mel's give you some great options there for things like poppadoms. And obviously just make sure, guys, you do track things like your mango chutney and things like that, because people often forget to track the condiments and they can soon add up, and you know, that could be a calorie deficit gone. If you're using things like mango chutney and ketchup and things like that on different meals for the day, you can easily do a couple of hundred calories. So yeah, that's the chicken curry. Hope you guys enjoy it. Any feedback is welcome. So you won't take it personally, will you? All right, see you soon, guys.